This is not an if technology. It's here, it's present, it's growing, it's expanding.
There is evidence out there that there's a correlation between the companies that are leading in AI and senior leaders who are actually using the tools.
The EY Center for Board Matters facilitated conversations in London, Sydney, and San Diego between a board director and a senior executive. Meeting for the first time on set, the contributors share their unscripted perspectives on the future of AI, focusing on three main areas: building confidence, creating value, and augmenting the board's potential to shape the AI future of their organizations.
I don't think we really know what is the future for AI. It's very disruptive. It will change in a big way. Competitors are going to be taking advantage of this technology. And if we are not, what do we do about it?
If we get too heavy on risk and compliance, we won't be doing enough thinking. The learning comes through the doing, not through the talking. And I think we need to do more doing.
I am one of 3 avatars created for this film. With the use of AI, we are based on real people whose likeness has been licensed. Our ability to offer additional insights to these conversations is made possible through generative AI. As the AI universe expands, how do boards cultivate confidence in AI technologies and ensure they align with strategic objectives?
A survey that Ernst & Young did, it said 48% of companies haven't got confidence in AI. What do you need to do in order to be confident that AI is going to deliver on its promise?
Look, with any new technology, for me, the board always thinks about assess, examine, and build. Do we have a responsible AI? Do we have an auditable AI? Do we have accountable AI? Do we have an unbiased AI?
Right.
I believe that AI has the role to play to bring in the future of that more inclusive and equity climate. We need to have a deliberate, separate perspective on fairness, on ethical.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be very careful. Your definition of fair and ethical could be subtly different to mine, could be different to someone else's. So I think it's going to be really hard for us to train a model that gives us an answer that's going to keep everyone happy. Let's have a higher standard of what we think good looks like and how we are going to take care of customers and people through this.
So one of the things that's interesting having board conversations is how are they going to apply ethical decisions to what they do around the world of artificial intelligence? One of the things our board decided we'd have guidelines for the company. So we were going to be transparent in AI. We were going to make sure AI was always in the service of people.
So the answer is yes, of course, you have to be inclusive and diverse. It's one of those areas where part of a responsible AI. As soon as you become a larger company, and if you're a regulated company, a bank, healthcare, then you will find out you have to think about a lot of other things, such as, what you're doing is responsible?
Right.
Is it compliant with regulation?
Innovation can get a little bit stifled, particularly because I think regulation is in danger of trying to regulate what goes into the funnel rather than the outcomes at the bottom. And that is very counter to an innovative environment.
You got to find the right balance between the ethical aspects, the regulatory aspects, and the innovation. I don't see these things as a choice. I see these things that have to coexist.
By embedding ethical and transparent practices into the development phase, organizations can foster trust and reliability, empowering stakeholders to embrace AI with greater confidence.
I think the board or the governance perspective is how do you inject that confidence for the innovators to fail fast, to carve out the capacity, whether it's investment capacity, the brain capacity, the resource capacity to try and error. I think it's really key.
And how the innovator is going to give confidence to the board, they're not going to break the company. It's a two-way street.
Yep, absolutely. So from the company perspective, data is still the gold mine, but then also the behavior of the data is now, I would say, the new oil or new energy of that. I will encourage the industry to take that opportunity, not just being compliant, but it's moving from compliant to compete.
Many organizations are taking existing business processes and seeing how generative AI could make them more efficient. But the real opportunity for value creation is in reimagining these processes through an AI lens.
Ultimately, you have to understand what are the applications you can use the technology for, which results in better customer experience, better efficiency, and lower costs.
People are getting good results, so good real-world results. How can we save time so we can have the ability to do organizational transformation, which will then allow us to do business transformation? But eventually people are going to come to the realization they can use AI to do something different, to do something they perhaps hadn't thought of before. So this is going to lead to new jobs being created because you can redistribute your workforce.
I mean, it raises the question of, so what are the KPIs? How do you measure?
Yeah.
And I think there's an evolution of those. It starts with basic use cases, like invite use cases, ideas, move them into trials, proof of concept, move them into production. I think you just measure the quantity of those, and then eventually you try to see these cases at scale, and then you can start to measure the more tangible things, like whether it's cost savings or revenue generation or customer satisfaction on a scale level.
I think when you ally AI together with quantum computing as well, and then you think about the possibilities for example, health and rational drug design and understanding molecular chemistry in a way which allows really, really rapid testing and creation of drugs. I mean, there are incredible possibilities around it.
We all heard about the Y2K, but using the quantum Y2K, we know something will happen by 2030, around that timeline, but we don't know exactly when it's going to happen.
The Y2K threat is similar to the Y2K or Millennium Bug. It refers to the potential threat that quantum computers pose to the security of current cryptographic systems. The transition to quantum-safe cryptography will be a huge migration program, affecting most information and communication systems.
Yeah, I sit on a board for a quantum company, so I can assure you we don't need to worry over the next 5 years. We can learn about AI between now and then. But it does present some very powerful opportunities computationally, which are really interesting.
To generate value and growth from AI, organizations should measure current performance to establish a baseline, inspire a culture of innovation that encourages experimentation and learning, and align AI applications with strategic goals.
This is the first time where I've heard people say, what's our AI strategy? As opposed to saying, why? What do you want to achieve with your AI strategy? Whether it is to be able to do more of what you do, whether it is to be able to do it faster, whether it is to be able to do it with less resources. Until you've defined that, I don't think you can really put your AI strategy in place.
How much should a board learn and understand about the topic of AI versus just receiving management reports and reading what you're given?
For me, what has worked well and has also been really interesting is where we take some time as a board away from the routine, the governance agenda. We'll periodically try and deep dive into it to get us a little bit up the curve on things. And I think that's super helpful for boards. Show use cases, show it living and breathing.
Maybe the predominant mindset as a director almost needs to be, I don't know. And if you start with a perspective of, I don't know, you're going to spend more time on your own personal growth and education and development.
There is a big debate about, do you have to have technologists on your board? And I think for you as a technology company, a good portion of your board needs to come from that world.
You do need a diverse mix.
And so it's very easy to lose that. What are we going to be in 10 years' time? And it's the board's job to help create the space for management and demand that management take the time. And therefore those strategy days where everybody is a little bit whiteboarding, it's a blue sky thinking, that's when you can get real value from board members who've got diverse experiences. It shouldn't be the case that your board members can do your executives' jobs better than they can.
Fostering boardroom diversity and inviting diverse perspective can accelerate AI adoption and industry disruption.
Taking from the space experience, I don't think we're going to get to Mars without blowing up a few rockets. And it's the same thing in AI. I think we have to trial and error and experiment, and only through doing that will we actually learn faster and we'll build even better AI solutions.
Everything is possible now through AI. It is also a great opportunity to bring more financial inclusion, diversity, and equity to the world.
There was no debate about should we be having a conversation. I do think that in boardrooms, for non-technology driven companies, I took away that by definition we spend less time on it, and therefore the time that we have to spend we have to be particularly thoughtful about, and we need outside help to make sure we can be as articulate about it as we can be.